Elon Musk is now a trillionaire, by the way. His name needs no introduction. He's the lead designer at SpaceX, of course. He designs a lot when he's spending 24 hours in a day tweeting and thanking Tesla stock. But we're at an interesting stage of capitalism and megacorps now. Will it crash? Maybe, maybe not. Can't really say. But the effects of this will not only be seen on the Forbes magazine page she's gonna be presented on, but also everyone's gonna be affected by it because it's obvious. Billionaires by themselves create jobs and drive markets. He is doing that. He employs people, he produces capital, he produces items. But at what point does the product become more valuable than a person who is behind it? Right? What's the value of a human if the product is already made? The problem with capitalist markets now is that it's not predictable, it's not stable. A million workers could have jobs, right? Because flow of capital. But 70,000 get laid off just like that. There's a good upward trend in money, but the problem is there's a downward trend in overall satisfaction, which is not good at all in an economy. The market is focusing large financial decisions into the hands of a group of people. And does not seem viable. It does not benefit a country or a place as a whole. Just because they have money, it does not give them the right to lead or to have control over a lot of people. It doesn't, really. And it might seem like it's not a big deal, right? If you let the privateers do what they want, they're not interfering with the government, of course, but they do. Tesla got subsidies from the government for boosting sales in electric cars. But that's the right thing. That's a good thing, right? It's good for the environment. The problem with that is government subsidies are your money, right? So as a taxpayer, you're giving a certain amount of money so that you get a return in services or value. But the problem is there's not always improvement due to this phenomenon that most people call trickle-down economics. Okay, let's just dive into the topic, okay? Since the government subsidized his costs for replacing superchargers in the country, the taxpayers should benefit from it. But the problem is, insurance costs are like 30 to 50% more than traditional cars. The average Tesla drops $25,000 to $30,000 in value over 5 years. The federal OBA laws let you cut down $10,000 of loan over 5 years, okay? That makes sense. But the problem is, the insurance premium over 5 years is more than $11,000. So your regulation or your idea, overall, you're not getting any value for that $10,000 of subsidy that you have for purchasing a Tesla car, right? If I make it simpler, the government used your money to increase profits for Elon, while you get worse deals on cars that make you lose even more money. Once we do understand this, we get a better picture on what's going on in the economy, right? It's not going to help if we just ignore all this. Let people become billionaires, let people chase a lot more money than they should responsibly own. This paints a bigger picture. The effect of hyper-concentration of wealth is really clear in almost every aspect of the economy. Housing prices go up because a lot of properties are overbid by the elites, so your rent goes up, which is something that directly impacts you. The overall cost of living goes up because the elites play around with money that's well beyond reasonable possession. Now that Elon has hit the 1 trillion mark, he has even more power than before. The Department of Government Efficiency, or even the unique salute that he did, weren't enough signs of the careless power that he got, just because he has a lot of money. This is one of the worst consequences of capitalism, really. The person who holds the money is the person who holds power, even if they have zero knowledge on how to handle that power. Power dictates the lives of everyone in the country, and if it's with a person who doesn't know how to positively impact the country, it's a downhill from the point the game even started. Another problem with wealth hoarding is how it removes money from aspects of the economy. If you earn money, you're spending it on local goods as a common person, right? You're buying items, services, and you're getting taxed on those services, and it's going back to the government. So the government can spend on its facilities, right? A person who's at the elite level, they're not going to be spending back into local businesses like this. They remove money effectively from circulation and make it a very slow velocity asset. They do not get paid in direct salaries, right? A small percentage of their income is salaries. Mainly it's like properties or shares or something that is not physically tangible. And if they do want to spend money, they're just going to take loans against these properties and assets that they have. In effect, when they take these loans, since the loans are not considered as income, they're not taxed. So they basically get zero tax with a lot of money to spend. That means that the government does not get money in return. If it doesn't get money in return, it seems like it doesn't matter to you, right? but the government handles hospitals, schools, colleges, transportation, all of those facilities. So if they do not have enough money to sustain all this, then they're not going to make these facilities better, right? Moreover, there are these corrupt and morally deprived politicians who have governance over millions, but since their kids go to the most elite private institutions, they don't bother improving the public institutions, which just means you pay more in tax, so you get lesser returns. It's an amazing deal set in place by the capitalist market, right? The Gini index is something interesting. Basically, it indicates how much wealth inequality exists in a certain place. Ideally, it's zero, which means that everyone has the same amount of money, but reality isn't really ideal. So we can aim for like a 20 or 15 or 25, something in that range. The United States sits at a crispy 49%. This means that a majority of the money is hoarded by the top 1%. Moreover, the statistic released recently said that Elon had more money than 46% of all the people. That is not the number you want. That is not the amount of power you're supposed to give to a certain individual who does not know how to responsibly take these decisions. The main problem with capitalism isn't the system itself as a whole. It creates money in the economy and keeps it flowing. But the problem is when the system is too focused on products and money over people, eventually there will be a day when people are fuel for machines. They'll be fed into machines. And the job of the regulator, in this case the government, is to ensure that people aren't brought to this point. And even if they do, they're brought to a point where they have zero power over their own lives, they need to have a safety net to fall and recover. Otherwise, it's not going to benefit anyone as a whole. The economy is going to crash. It's going to become super bad. We see many countries in the European Union and Europe as a whole implement this properly because the basic health-wise facilities that they want are mostly subsidized. It's really easy for a person to access education or hospitals or something like that, even if they do not have a good paycheck. Recently, even Nepal had a change in legislation where if you're a government official, your child is supposed to study in a public facility. This means that even if the politicians don't want to do it, they're going to forcibly make sure that the government facilities that their kids go to, it's well maintained, right? It's of good quality. It's not just there for namesake. And this is like a good direction to head towards because it helps everyone in the long run. It helps the country as a whole. It helps the governments. It helps the people who are at the country. The problem is not really the system in place. The system is an effect of the people. The people are an effect of ideas. Ideas change very slowly over time, right? At the end, when the system is set, we cannot blame the people. We cannot blame anyone. We can only take precautions that help us to endure the system a lot better than complain about it. Like I said, it's a cause-effect cycle that does not depend on individuality. It depends on the overall movement of the people. So we cannot control it on a mass scale. And for the people that are affected by it, for the people that need a lot of support, or even they need their safety net, the job of the government is to do that. So if it does not provide that, it's your job to stand up and ask. And yeah, there's not really a lot more to talk about how inequality in wealth is negatively impacting a lot of people. Yet they do not raise their voices. They feel like politics is something that they do not interfere with because it doesn't affect them. And that's just my view on this topic. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.